exercised in a manner consistent with the Constitution. It means that all institutions of government, all agencies of government, even the President, the office of the President of the Republic, exist only for one thing, for the welfare and the interests of the people of Ghana. They do not exist for themselves. All information in the hands of these institutions that exist for us, we are entitled to them. That is fundamental. The real danger has to do with the changes that Parliament may introduce, whittling away the important gains that have been made in the current bill. An equally major danger is that this Parliament, like the previous Parliament, would dance about this matter, and then the term of the Parliament will end. And then when a new government and Parliament is elected, we'll start all over again. Pressure ought to be brought to bear on the President of the Republic to push his MPs, who are in the majority in Parliament, to pass the law. And to pass the law ensuring that they do not dilute its effectiveness.
Now, lawyer Akoto Ampah has still been interacting with TV3, and he warned that recruiting people without integrity to the office of the special prosecutor could prematurely collapse it. He said the public misconception about the special prosecutor's office and work is largely due to the failure of government to communicate the work of the office.
Lawyer Akoto Ampah's name came up strongly as one of the few who were being considered for the post of the special prosecutor in the lead-up to the president's announcement. The private legal practitioner says misconceptions about the office of the special prosecutor is largely due to government's failure to communicate work done so far. He said the special prosecutor will need at least a year and a half to be more effective.
In my view, at least a year and a half or even more to set up an effective office of a public prosecutor. That is, if we are really serious in having an effective office that actually is capable of investigating, identifying those who have stolen public funds and prosecuting them.
He said the media should be interested in finding out what the allocations are to the setting up of the Special Prosecutor's Office in the 2019 budget. Lawyer Ampah was quick to defend the Special Prosecutor Martin Amido about his failure to prosecute anybody yet. He said the successes chalked by him whilst pursuing civil cases is quite different from the current criminal cases before him.
Criminal prosecution is a completely different ballgame. You need to do proper investigation, and that he cannot do it. He's not a trained investigator. You need people who have the requisite training to do investigation, provide the evidence for him to assess, and then determine which of the cases to prosecute.
Akoto Ampah wants civil society to put a lot more pressure on government to address challenges facing the special prosecutor.
Ghanaian civil society and all nationals who see that corruption is doing us massive damage ought to begin to speak out and put the necessary pressure on government, especially the finance ministry, to provide sufficient funding for the office to be set up. There are institutions, there are people in the public services, there are people in business community who do not want change in Ghana.
The special prosecutor Martin Amido, in his latest write-up, bemoaned the lack of resources and support, likening his situation to the work of Robert Mueller of the US-Russia investigations.
Now on to Parliament. The minority says Ghana's financial sector is seeing a recession as a result of slow growth and negative growth. At its pre-budget roundtable discussion, the minority says Ghanaians should not expect anything positive in the 2019 budget, as the 2017 and 2018 budgets have seen hardship and job losses.
Minority spokesperson on finance, Kaisel Atoforsen, said figures from the Ghana Statistical Service for the first quarter of 2017 showed a growth rate of 11.2%. The growth rate for the second quarter, he said, was 8.6%, third quarter negative 25.5%, and fourth quarter negative 25%. He said the financial sector in 2018 also saw a decline, justifying the recession.
In December last year, the Vice President promised that every Ghanaian would have a bank account by close of this year as part of the effort to formalize the economy and ensure financial inclusion. We wish to ask whether, with barely a month to end the year, every Ghanaian has a bank account. The Vice President once again promised that 570 dams would be constructed this year in the northern, upper east, and upper west regions. This was in spite of the fact that the 2018 budget made provisions for just about 100 dams. We wish to find out from the government whether these dams have been delivered as promised.
Atoforsen said the 2017 and 2018 budgets superintended hardships and job losses and urged Ghanaians not to have hope in the 2019 budget to be presented on Thursday.
The popular saying Ghana beyond aid has now become Ghana beyond hell. In the year 2017, the budget was named Asempa budget, meaning good news. In the end, what did we see? We saw Asampone budget, bad news. Ladies and gentlemen, in the year 2018, the budget was named Eduma budget, meaning what? Meaning we are going to expect some more employment, but in the end, what are we witnessing now? We are witnessing job losses. The President has once again announced to the nation that the 2019 budget will be full of hope. Ladies and gentlemen, judging from the outcomes of the 2017 and 2018 budget statement and economic policy, what should we expect in the 2019 budget? Hopelessness.
The minority spokesperson on finance said Ghanaians should expect worsening unemployment and hardships, more debt accumulation due to the alarming borrowing, new taxes, upsurge in government expenditure, issuance of a century bond that will be over and above the absorptive capacity of the economy, and a budget that would be skewed away from the economic sectors to non-economic sectors. Other institutions and think tanks that were present at the roundtable discussion said the previous budgets by the NPP government have not been beneficial to the people.
A developing country like Ghana, how can we spend $21 million just on the fight of armyworm? We the farmers want accountability. NPP came to power, and now we the farmers have been rejected. They take decision on their own without consulting with the farmers. Most of the board, we the farmers, don't serve anymore. Premixed fuel, we control the premixed fuel. Now it's the politicians who control the premixed fuel. The government don't have any focus to move this country better. If there was a way that Parliament can do for this government to go immediately, like I think will be the best way to do.
Staying on this, the majority in Parliament has meanwhile debunked claims by the minority of a declining economic growth. A member of the Finance Committee and MP for Bantama, Daniel Ochim-Aboagye, said government is still fixing the mess created by the NDC government.
If you call massive love justice, you can call it. Who calls them? It's the previous NDC government under their watch, where the former presidency pretended the collapse of almost 78 banks. If it wasn't because of the MPP government under the leadership of President Akufo-Addo, so many jobs have been lost. We saved, not lost jobs, to the extent that Ghanaians, you and I, have to pay taxes to take care of depositors' funds to the tune of about 12 billion Ghana cedis.
The member of the Finance Committee and MP for Bantama, Daniel Ochim-Aboagye, said several social policy interventions have been created, and that has helped alleviate the plight of Ghanaians.
On the contrary, it hasn't been hardship. At least if Ghanaians don't know anything at all, we realize that light has been on. They will claim that they have they bought the kilowatts and other things, but that's not the case. The most important is that we have managed it to keep it on for Ghanaians to see it. That's one. The government introduced free senior high school. It has continued. There are over 90,000 people going to school and saving about almost 1,950 to 3,000 per person, depending on whether you're a day student or boarding house students. That is not something you can say is full of hardship. It's a relief to parents. The government has increased over 200,000 people, in the form of the LEAP. There are so many people that are enjoying the LEAP right now.
Well, still staying on the budget, banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etuahene has challenged the Finance Ministry to present a strategic plan that will stabilize the cedi in the 2019 budget reading. He explains, without a currency stabilization strategy, the positive effects of recapitalization will whittle away.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta will present the 2019 budget and economic policy statement on November 15. Banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etuahene projects capital of banks will shrink, thereby creating the need for another recapitalization exercise if government does not immediately employ a long-term solution to address the currency's depreciation.
The Minister of Finance should come up with a concrete strategies, both short-term, long-term, medium term. If you capitalize and the currency has not become stable or is not stable over the period, if you haven't even capitalized, it could have been better. The devaluation would destroy the real value of the money. In 2009, the cedi to the dollar was 1.43. Today, as I speak to you, is about 4.798. If my calculations are right, currency has depreciated about 234%.
He argued Ghana will have to earn more foreign exchange from transactions to stabilize the cedi, while recommending a national export agenda that transcends political party tenure.
We sit down and think that the currency can stop by itself. No. We must have a conscious strategy for this nation, and especially Bank of Ghana. They should be mindful that it's not just the recapitalizing, pumping more money that will solve it. They should actually think about a serious export drive where we have competitive and comparative advantage. Otherwise, by 2020, we'll be calling for recapitalization of banks because the capital will be whittled away.
In 2017, the Bank of Ghana issued a new minimum capital requirement for banks. Effectively, universal banks in Ghana are required to raise their minimum paid-up capital to 400 million Ghana cedis by December 2018. Despite concerns and objections raised by many banks, the central bank has indicated the decision still stands.
The Governing Council of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, has been reconstituted to pave way for resumption of academic work on Monday, November 19. The council's inauguration was preceded by the swearing-in of 6 new members, including 4 government appointees. A report by Ibrahim Abubakar.
Science and Technology KNUST was shut down on October 22 following a violent demonstration by some students. Property valued at 1.7 million cedis were vandalized on campus. Government dissolved the university's governing council and constituted an interim council. The reconstitution of the council was, however, frustrated by government's quest to compel labor unions at the university to change their representation on the council. The government has, however, softened its stance, paving way for the inauguration of the council on Tuesday. Minister of Education Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh urged the new council members to use their leadership skills to help preserve the image of the university.
Your call as a council is therefore to oversee, advise and direct the operations of the university to ensure that academic policies set by the governance structure are followed. This will give the public confidence that the university is using its degree awarding powers with integrity.
Chancellor of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, described the vandalism of the students as painful and a dent on the image of the university. He warned neither students nor alumni will be allowed to conduct themselves in a manner that affects the integrity of the university.
The next stage of the journey must necessarily bring to the fore all factors leading to the breakdown of order on campus, untangle all not an established responsibility or culpability, so we can all draw the right lessons for the future administration of the university.
Meanwhile, the University Relations Officer Kwame Yeboah Jr. has disclosed school will reopen on Friday, November 16, while lectures start on Monday, November 19.
It is the hope that the school will be reopened as soon as possible. The intention was to have it even tomorrow, but after taking a lot of things into consideration, the students are supposed to return on Friday, and on Monday, academic work begins.
Now on to international news. A feud with the First Lady's office is expected to cost a senior national security advisor her job after she sparred with East Wing staff and other key members of the Trump administration. The dispute spilled into public view in extraordinary fashion on Tuesday when the First Lady's office released a statement calling for Deputy National Security Advisor Myra Rickadel's ouster as reports surfaced that President Donald Trump would fire the official. A White House official confirmed to CNN that Trump has told people that Rickadell will be fired, but the official said she has been given some time to clear out her desk. It was not immediately clear when she would officially make her exit. It is the position of the office of the First Lady that Rickadell no longer deserves the honor of serving in this White House, the First Lady's communications director, Stephanie Grisham, said in a statement on Tuesday. Well, that's all for morning news here on TV3, but Newday continues, so stay with us.
Very good. You know what this song means to me? It means a lot to me that if you're a duty bearer somewhere, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. The day Jesus comes, you will hear Boboli Bobo. The day the people come calling, you will hear Boboli Bobo. You know, I think that's what happened in Adenta. After they cried and cried and cried and nobody listened to them. Finally, we heard Boboli Bobo, and suddenly the street lights came up. I didn't see an engineer there trying to tweak anything, but suddenly the lights came up. So it means that it was up for a reason.
So they heard the Boboli Bobo, which is good. At least if they're hearing it and responding to
but
the
if we
clarion
keep
call,
hearing
that is a good thing.
Boboli Bobo everywhere, it means that the Environmental Protection Agency will have a lot of work to do because the noise decibels will be going up and down.
It's a calm Boboli Bobo, not a strong one.
So it's like Boboli Bobo.
Yes, it's like a whisper. But very soon when it trumpets, that's where there'll be trouble. But good morning again. It's a Wednesday and it's November 14th, gradually creeping into December. We're happy to be on your screens again, as always, giving us access into your homes, making it a beautiful morning for yourselves. But you don't see Bright on set because he's gone up to the north.
Right, he's in Wa as we speak, yes? So he's digging for more information as usual for us. But we'll be ranting. The public expressing disappointment in the office of the special prosecutor. Yesterday, lawyer Akutompao made some very striking points there. But why are they disappointed? I don't know. Are you disappointed?
I am, because there was a lot of brouhaha surrounding it, and many of us thought that Ghana had reached that corruption point where we would want to do something actively about it. And so for that office to have been created, we thought it was a good, idea for the government, but the implementation thereafter has been an issue. And so certainly I think everyone who is disappointed holds that view because of these things that government probably outlined for them, which we are not seeing come to fruition.
Okay, we'll hit the streets and find out what more there is in terms of disappointment. But as always, our WhatsApp line is 020-21-666-33. Let's read your thoughts and comments. Are you disappointed as well in the office of the special prosecutor? And tell me what your expectations are for tomorrow.
The budget will be read.
What do you expect to hear?
Of course, Johnny, whenever we talk about the budget, I, for one, I'm interested in the health sector. I want to find out what government is actively going to do in terms of financing the health sector, because we've had so much, rant about the health sector, but we don't see much action in that space. Then also, I want to hear about agriculture, what government is planning to do. Then again, free SHS will always be there because it's at the heart of education. And if we don't see, the plan for how we'll sustain it, then there's going to be an issue. So I want to hear at least these three things basic. And then fuel, maybe the petroleum sector will touch on oil and gas. And
But when I was a kid, when Professor Kwesi Botwe read the budget, each time he did, you could tell the price of a ball of kenke or a tin of milk. Perhaps we should go back to those days. So we have saved all this GDP, inflation, this, that, decimal point. and then you go
we
to
seem
the
to
market
talk about
and
the heads of the ordinary citizen when it
Yeah.
comes to, you know, the budget, and that's why I think the excitement that used to be with budget readings has been lost. But maybe we also didn't start right, because it would be interesting to hear us go to, you know, Parliament to be talking about ball of KNK, tin of milk. Maybe now
a funny picture I saw.
Change the face of economics.
I saw yesterday, you know, a bowl of banku with okra and crab, and they all had tax stamp on them.
Oh Lord, I can just imagine. You can't even eat, because that's you're eating, you're calculating the tax you're paying
Yeah,
on
but
that.
you take the tax stamp off.
Anyway, but we'll also talk about
Of course.
diabetes, because today is World Diabetes
Absolutely,
Day, and so
absolutely.
diabetes and I will be talking about that at the health segment when we get a doctor in
Today,
to discuss it.
this week also marks the World Antibiotic Week.
Right, it
So
does.
last week we hosted the Ghanaian who had let, I had forgotten the name of the medicine.
I
Trust me.
have to, but I know
It's
it's
omadacycline.
Yes,
yes,
I know the
omadacycline.
cycling.
Yes,
It's in the
I remember.
Yeah, you did the interview, so
No,
you
I know
you
Sean like
must.
that. I remember. let's check out the front page
Yep.
stories there. The Daily Graphic, as always, is our starter, and it says KNUST reopens Friday. MPs to initiate bills, and government undertakes 3,020 projects towards poverty eradication. Those are the front page stories of the Daily Graphic, and you can always grab a copy of it today, the 14th of November. The Daily Guide says Qatar leader praises Nana. NDC hawks on rampage attack Alabi Ashanti chairman and secretary. KNUST reopens on Friday, and 2 billion Tema port deal stinks. It does stink. That's what we're being told by the Daily Guide newspaper this morning. The Ghanaian Times, expectations of 2019 budget statement, block tax loopholes. Professor Newman there to raise revenue for development. Economists, tax experts urge government. Have we not been told so many times that that's what we're trying to do? Widening the tax and blocking the loopholes. Well, we will not be pressured to sever ties with Qatar, President declares. And KNUST finally gets new governing council. Minority predicts tough economic conditions for Ghanaians ahead of the budget reading tomorrow. They are already having a roundtable conference that says there's nothing good that will be in the budget. What do you think? I want to know. The Independent newspaper, NDC will fix free SHS challenges and implement it properly. Mahama assures. KNUST reopens Friday. The Daily Statesman, Michelle Obama on Melia Prom's night, and KNUST reopens on Monday. Cash for cronies. We could lose $2 billion, and DI calls for renegotiation of NDC contract. Well, that's the Dankwa Institute, not the Defense Intelligence, by the way. Africa should follow Ghana, Emir of Qatar. Today newspaper, NPP descends on Mahama for propagating lies. And Mavis Howard Combs is Minister for Special Development and Initiative. A photo comes along with that. Otumfuo inaugurates KNUST Council as school reopens on Friday. And more troubles for NDC scribes. I told you earlier about the Ashanti chairman and secretary. The final newspaper, KNUST lectures resume Monday. 5-member committee to probe cause of disturbances. Government sinks 927 million Ghana cedis into poverty eradication projects. Howard Kumson's photo comes along. She's smiling. You risk prosecution for using digital addressing code of other people. That's the National Identification Authority. And when you're asking me to use my phone to generate for somebody else, I risk prosecution. Medase. Katie Hammond's RTI fears backward occupy Ghana, and the mayor of Qatar hails president's governance style. And on that note, we take a break. When we return, there's a conversation about the World Antibiotic Week this week. There's a doctor in house, so 2 doctors will be on your screen after this break.
Well, this week we're celebrating a very important aspect of health. We're talking about antibiotic use, and we are celebrating the World Antibiotic Awareness Week, because everyone in Ghana seems to know what an antibiotic is, but what really do they do, and how should we be giving it out, and also how should we be taking it? Joining me in studio is pharmacist Reverend Dennis Senawiti. He is the Executive Secretary for the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm blessed.
We thank God. So it's, you know, awareness raising, and the fact that people seem to abuse antibiotics, as it were. Everybody will go to a pharmaceutical shop and ask for tupaye, which is what we all know in our local parlance. But really, for the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, what is your main concern in this awareness you're raising?
Thank you very much. As you are aware, antibiotics is a group of medicines that the health sector cannot do away with, because, I mean, it has changed how diseases that hitherto would have killed people, right. I mean, where they didn't have any hope, now people can live longer. Right. I mean, a simple case is the introduction of antiretrovirals for the treatment of HIV and AIDS, and realize people are living longer and they are able to contribute economically to their families and to their nation and to the world at large. And so for us, losing this important group of medicines should be a worry to everybody, not only the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana. And so for the World Health Organization to think it worthy to dedicate a whole week where we can create awareness about antibiotic resistance, I think it's a very good thing. So for us, as you know, we tag ourselves that pharmacists are the expert on medicines, and for which we think we should lead in this and get the awareness out there so that the public can be duly informed. So we joined the Ministry of Health, the World Health Organization, the country office in Ghana, the World Animal Health Organization, UNEP, which is the environmental organization of the United Nations, as well as other stakeholders to launch the week in Ghana on Monday at the conference of the Ministry of Health. And so for us, we are leading as pharmacists, and therefore we are on social media, we are in our pharmacies, we are in our facilities, we are in our churches, we are in our mosque, and we are drawing attention to this very important group of medicines, which if we lose, suffice it to say, the simplest infection will kill you, because then there will be no hope. So it's important that the public is well informed and aware that the misuse of antibiotics will spell doom for us as a human race. And so it's important that everyone gets on board.
But when we talk about resistance, many people don't understand it. And can you just give us a practical example of how our use of antibiotics leads to resistance?
Thank you. You see, if somebody comes at you with a knife and threatens your life, the next time you see the person coming with maybe you manage to run away, but the next time you'll be prepared when you see such a person coming. So you probably will take a shield if you have one. Anything you can use to protect yourself against that attack, you do it. So it is either when the person is coming, the person makes sure he or she kills you, because you come back stronger. And so it's the case with antibiotics. If you are using antibiotics to kill, let me use that word, microorganisms that cause disease, what you have to do is you have to get it right the first time and get it properly done. However, if you don't, for one reason or the other, you misuse either the duration, the dosage, the route of administration, and you don't do it properly, what happens is that you don't kill the microorganisms, you warn it. So, you know, they reproduce faster. And so, naturally, if there is a threat to your life, the next generation that comes after you, inherently, naturally, will build resistance to that threat. So, I mean, the simple case is, for us blacks, let me use the word blacks, in the tropics, we are dark skinned. We have a lot of melanin to protect us against the harmful rays of the sun. That is natural, okay? So with the bacteria and the microbes, it's the same. So they build resistance. So the next time that sickness or that infection comes into you and you need to treat it with the same medicine, which you didn't use properly the first time, you use it and it doesn't work because the microorganism has built a resistance against it. So what you do is that you have to look for another set of medicines which will be able to properly work. And assuming you don't use that one too well, what happens that they build resistance. And so you keep looking for new medicines. You run out.
Very well.
And then the simplest of infections that could have been dealt with very well if we treat it properly the first time. Now, we don't have any medicines. And the bad thing about it is that it's not only in humans. Microbes or infections affect plant life, and so it has implications for food security. It affects animals that we use as meat and for food. And so if and there are cross infections. So infections that affect humans also affect animals. And so if they become resistant and they cannot be treated, then the animals will die from sicknesses they get, and we can't even get food. So it's a very real and present danger for us, and we need to work towards it.
Finally, in celebration of this week, we're also, championing and strengthening surveillance and research. But Ghana has made some strides. Just touch on that finally before we wrap up.
So we are grateful for the life of pharmacist Professor Kwesi Adumaku-Ohimi, a Ghanaian pharmacist, one of our own, who led, an important aspect of drug discovery, a team of scientists to discover omadacycline. It's a new antibiotic which is very effective against treatment of a wide range of infections. And for us, we celebrate him. So he's one of our he's the main focal person for the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana. We've done videos that we are going to share of him on social media, talking about the importance of antibiotics awareness, and it's something we need to celebrate. We also celebrate one pharmacist, Dr. Cynthia Ameni-Dankwa, who using Persian shallots and through research, basic science research in the lab and in the field to work against microbes that cause tuberculosis. And I think we should applaud them, and we urge government to continue to support research institutions and academia to be able to come up with model antibiotics that we can all be proud of. You see, the issue is that with natural products, we've been using them for medical purposes, but we need to validate them, standardize them, and make them available for use. And I think the world will celebrate us for it.
They very well will. So this week we are celebrating World Antibiotic Awareness Week, and all of us have a clarion call to make sure that the resistance issue does not become something that will harm future generations to come. Because if we don't treat it well, we certainly will cause loss to lives in the years to come. But join them when they, post things on Instagram, social media. Make sure you tweet, make sure you send it on Facebook, Instagram, so everyone gets to know about this antibiotic awareness. But I have been speaking to pharmacist Reverend Dennis Sena Awiti. He is the Executive Secretary for the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana. But it's time for us to step on the streets and rant. What are we talking about? Citizens' disappointment at the Office of the Special Prosecutor for the fact that they haven't seen any work going on. Let's step out and find out what your take is.
Lots of Ghanaians took to the streets of Ghana, jubilating after the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo announced that he has appointed citizen vigilante Martin Amidu as the special prosecutor. The expectations of Ghanaians were high. Some were expecting that within the shortest period, they would at least see the first case of an appointee who has been charged with corruption. But 1 year on, the narrative is different. Today on Daily Rant from Salaga, I am asking some citizens whether the Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu met their expectations. Gentlemen, welcome to Daily Rant.
Thank you. I think that, yes, Martin Amidu has met my expectation, because establishing an institution is not an event, it's a process. And so for 1 year, to put up the structures in place before rolling out the action, I think that we should credit him with that job. Let us not think that special prosecutor is a market that you will build and ask market women to go in. He has to take due process. You remember that during President Kufuor, when an office was established to prosecute lawyer Chachuchi Kata, I think that when Chachuchi Kata went to Supreme Court, that office was thrown out. And so we must be guided by history. Let us not push Martin Amidu to do what is not legally right. Let's allow Martin Amidu to deal with the process. The law governing it has been passed. So what is he still waiting? For a look at things, the man look as if the expectation that Ghanaians have for him is being demoralized. To me, he's not doing his work. He's supposed to do better.
My brother, this is not a banana republic. We are dealing with law. We are dealing with an institution. Let the institution work. Every institution has its own rules and regulation governing by that institution. Let the institution work. Let government put all the resources needed for the man to work.
Petition analysis.
What the resources?
A petition analysis.
The resources
he is there.
To the person.
He is complaining that he has not been given resources to work. 2. There's no any office meant for him.
But shouldn't he complain?
Something that they gave him. He cannot do the work. If only he feels he cannot do the work, he should hand over our things for us so that we will know what to do.
Government has already, the 2019 budget, government has already allocated the resources for him.
Are you giving us a tip of what we should expect on Thursday?
On Thursday, government will show you the sort of resources he has pumped into the government pursuit fund, so that in order to see the much needed expectation which people of Ghana are waiting for.
Has he met your expectations?
All the same, not that convinced, because Machamidu has now turned to social media instead of him to whatever complaint he is having to go in for Attorney General and put the information to Attorney General. He goes to social media.
Complains a lot. Yes, Ghanaians have that right to complain because of the seeming corruption that happened, that we witnessed, where guinea fowls were flying to Burkina Faso, where bus branding, you have a president that will place only his picture on a metro mast that will cost the nation so much. I think that Ghanaians have been patient enough for Martin Abindu. But for my point of view, I think that yes, the institutions have been put in place, and let us allow the due process to flow. If we stampede,
but you can't call those evidence.
No, there are evidence, tangible evidence. You can see that yes. A poster has been posted on a particular bus that a president, former president, and what have you, costs the nation a huge sums of money. What is he still waiting? He can still go by it, search for the documents, and prosecute them. We are ready.
My brother, this is beer bar analysis. You can't sit here and make that announcement. Let the law work. Let the structure, the institution work. So I have confidence in Martin Amidu. I know he can do the work. President believe in him. That is why he has appointed him. So let's wait and see what will happen. We'll still have 2 years to go.
It's based on perception, and I believe that it's still based on the perception that he cannot even prosecute even a single individual in this country, because worse things are happening. One, just currently, maritime authority. What is he waiting? He should dig into the grounds and then come out with...
What if he's investigating and you don't know? I mean, he can't come to tell you that he's investigating.
It's not only maritime authority. We have both issues. Ghana is a country that we don't work with law. You remember that we have a president who believes in the rule of law. He's somebody that has fought for this country, fought for the human rights of this country, and therefore you will not be expecting the president to oversee the Russian and these kind of jamboree arrests. We don't want to see that. We want to see this president putting people in the right process, dealing with them, so that the laws will pronounce the person being guilty or not. If you want Martin Amidu to just bundle people to court without evidence, we don't want. Martin Amidu is somebody.
Remember,
Martin Amidu, I know, is a man of his words. Why is he still waiting? To me, Ghanaians are disappointed in him.
Remember, the man is a former Attorney General of SY administration. He knows the work. The man can do the work. The man knows. President believe himself, and President, almost all the two parties believe that the man can do the work. That is why we have given the money. So let us wait and see what will happen. And the man has already done his background check. They are far advanced in terms of all these procurement and other process issues. So let us see what will happen.
Now, don't you also think that maybe Ghanaians are expecting so much from leaders. And
yes,
that's why
I think that Ghanaians, as I said earlier on, the expectation of Ghanaians are right. Because leadership creates that perception that the moment you come, you can push people into jail. And the Ghanaians have bought into it. I am a singular person who wants due process to happen. Less Ghanaians' expectation. Let us go in our community to educate people. Yes, indeed, we all saw massive corruption. But let us not see that we should push people into jail because there is a perception of corruption. Let somebody that is prosecuted in jail see to him that indeed I have done wrong. I have done wrong and have
the whole issue is that this current administration, what they used and won power was that one of the main issue was based on corruption.
Sure.
And 2 years down now, what are they still waiting? Even aside the special prosecutor, what about the attorney general? Can't he also do the job?
Who hasn't been able to prosecute? If I don't know whether you are following Attorney General. Attorney General and Machamidu was writing letters here and there. You should have followed them. You should have followed their letters. You know that they are far advanced in terms of they are far advanced in terms of their office and other procurement process. So let us not jump. Let us not. This is an institution.
Which impression?
Let us not create that impression that Martin is there to prosecute former government. This is an institution. I don't want Ghanaians to see when Martin Amidu starts to prosecute people.
No, but you yourself, you just mentioned something that guinea fowls and then bars branding.
Yes.
These things were done under the former government. So why do you come back to say that we shouldn't think that Martin is going to prosecute only former?
Yes, that is. I find my brother's argument going in tilting to that line. But let us not see that when Martin starts to roll out the corrupt official, people will not read political meaning to that. And that is why I thank the president that he has been able to appoint somebody who is not politically ideology. They don't share any political ideology. But he has appointed the president to that high office. That gives a signal that this government is ready to fight corruption. And any government appointee who is found guilty, I think Martin Amidu will deal with it.
Do you get the sense? Do you get the sense that maybe the government, though appointed Martin Amidu, some elements in the government are frustrating his work?
Exactly. He said it. He complained bitterly that this current administration, some people are there interrupting in his work, which he cannot do.
It's not true.
They should give him the chance to do it.
It is not true. If it's that I know Machamidu. Machamidu would have exposed them. It's not true. Who and who? Who and who? Who and who? Where? Just tell me, who and who?
Get your facts well.
Who and who?
He said it. Machamidu himself said it.
Who and who?
That he has been interrupted with certain
with who? With who? Just be.
That is why he cannot
just be factual. Just be factual.
Martin might have said that, and for me, my worry is the way Martin is dealing with issue on social media. Okay. For example, if he say that, per what he has said, that there's an unseen hands manipulating his work, I think that he himself is questioning his integrity, because we believe that he is one of the people that have that integrity in Ghana today. And so if he himself comes out to say that there's an unseen hand manipulating him, and he's still in the office, I think that the integrity of Martin Amidu should be questioned. If indeed this post
question against his appointment himself, looking at things, he himself, he has been in office for almost getting to a year now, taking salary. What is he doing? Let him go on the ground and then search for information. You can be, he will continue sitting down like this. Next year we will continue to talk about this.
But you know that before he can even take a step, someone must petition him. You know that.
But what is he
and so have you tried petitioning him on an individual?
In the near future you will see it. We will go.
When again,
we will dig into it.
This is an institution. This is an institution. They are doing everything with law and the structure. The institution is there forever. It's not a structure where we do today, that's all. So then therefore there's a need for us to put
himself,
everything.
It's not like a white elephant.
Everything on
where he keeps on complaining. Everything of him is within social media. Day in, day out, he continue complaining. What is wrong with him?
I urge the government to resource NCC to do the work. Looking at it, it seems Ghanaians don't really understand the role the special prosecutor is going to play. People don't even understand the process in getting somebody.
We were told that they were going to appoint somebody, and the person's name is going to be a special prosecutor, and his role is going to be to arrest corrupt officials.
Yes,
that was the music that was sung to us.
You see, one thing about communication is that you must hit the point. You carry the people along, and that is why maybe that communication went that way. That is why I want to urge the NCC to educate the people, to literally define the role of Martin Amidu, the special prosecutor, and the process. Today, you just mentioned that indeed, before he works, somebody must petition. Let's ask ourselves, as citizens, who has petitioned Martin Amidu and he has not acted on that?
Okay, as citizens, who has petitioned the special prosecutor, citizen vigilante Martin Amidu on anybody? My name is Zubaida Ismail. This has been Daily Rants from Salaga.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, your hi is short, like you are short of words.
Only baby. Maybe Didi, Mami Didi, be casa later.
Hold on, I'm coming, okay? Hold on.
Hey, how many we do? We have 15 minutes. That means 500 megabytes. Keep talking.
You are having lunch. Hey, do you know that breakfast comes before lunch? What are you eating, food or drink? Okay, let's pray over the line before you eat. Oh yeah,
call Vodafone or any network and get 10 megabytes of free data every minute you talk. Dial 5050 to subscribe.
The Motivator Challenge is here. We're looking for the Ghanaian who's got what it takes to take on a challenge and win $20,000 in the African finale. Are you up for the challenge of putting your physical and mental skills to the test? Get involved. Register today and be at the Malta Guinness recruitment event near you in Accra, Takrady, Kumasi, or Tamale. Do Ghana proud. Don't be left out. Malta Guinness, high in vitamins B to fuel your greatness. Let's go.
Mame, mpacho eti say
Boko.
Mpacho, wo ye Ghana ni?
Ya na me.
On frame am.
Enti wo honam nyina ya tum. Ensa ba kokran si widie ni.
Na wo secret ye de.
Ernest ointment.
Ernest ointment na omo se esa kolese, pimples, stretch marks no. Ene honam ani nsa bia no. Eye no kure.
Na nya no nko a se wo yi wo bodwo sana sansan gu a. Se o ro on paboa na se emu bon a. Ernest ointment. Etimi ni one time. Se mo ko bei. A otiti ne ho okwan ho. Ernest ointment. Etimi ni one time. Winning pimples, a crow. When I'm any Arabia, Ernest ointment, your body don't come with you. Why is no more traffic, Momoton, or Motombi? Drugstore beer a ben, and man to me this year's your own baby. I'm a hoya come up.
Ernest ointment, I will find your secret.
12 strangers, 13 episodes, 1 island. The stakes are high. There is no prize for runner-up. The winner takes all of 1 SUV and 25,000 Ghana cedis cash. All you need to do is to survive the nerve-wracking task of finding and defending the Spear of Survival deep in the Ghanaian jungle. Fill out the entry form on spearofsurvival.com and prepare to put your survival skills to the test. Deadline for application is November 21, 2018. An applicant must be no less than 24 and no more than 35 years old. Call 020.
Welcome back and thank you very much. As always, you can join us on our WhatsApp line 02021 666 33. That's 02021666633. Also, we're live on Twitter at TV3 Ghana, and you can always share your thoughts and comments with me on Twitter at Hughes_on-air. And we'll be happy to share with the rest of the wonderful world. I've been joined this morning by lawyer Abraham Amaleba, who is a member of the NDC's legal team and communications team as well. Counsel, good morning, and thank you very much for your time. We're still expecting a representative from the MPP, as and when he joins us, we will give him a seat and have a conversation with him as well. But let's start off. Yesterday, the Emir of Qatar, the man praised the president, Akufo-Addo. He says he likes his style of governance and that he is governing well for the past 22 months. He's done very well, and that's worthy of emulation. You sure agree with him, don't you?
Well, let me start by saying good morning to your viewers. I think the Emir of Qatar clearly is not in touch with the happenings in Ghana. Clearly, this is a man who is miles away, and so may not have the opportunity to know what is happening in Ghana now. Sometimes to diplomatic niceties may be showered on the president, but the reality does not speak to the diplomatic realities.
He says the fundamentals are right, the social indicators are good.
And so if the Emir of Qatar had taken time off, I don't know whether he has a representative in Ghana, to find out from his representative in Ghana, I'm sure he would have been told that for the first time in this country, we have heard that mortuary attendants are threatening to strike because of harsh economic conditions. This is the first time, and I've even never heard it in any part of the world, that mortuary attendants go on strike. But for the first time, it's happening in Ghana. Clearly, these cannot be nice commentary about the country. And so I can forgive the Emir of Qatar, but let's come back home. And when you come back home, you would notice that for the past 23 months that this government has been in place, the situation of the Ghanaian has been worsening by the day. Indeed, living conditions are harsh, fuel prices are increasing, foodstuff, and you look at the situation and you come to one conclusion, which conclusion is that the situation is hopeless.
You mean to say you are not seeing the public-private partnership, the aggressive one, that's drawing in a lot of, if you like, investors? Volkswagen is here, the Sun is here. They are here. They are all coming in.
I am talking about bread and butter issues. Volkswagen can come in here, whatever company can come in here, but if the Ghanaian is unable to purchase those items that they are coming to produce, what is the use of them being here? The point is that the living conditions of the ordinary Ghanaian is worsening. Just 2 days ago, pure water price had increased to now 30 pesos. This is the reality of the Ghanaian. The Ghanaian this morning gets up and he looks back and says that during the NDC time, I could afford one or two things. Today, as we speak, times are hard and I'm not able to, indeed, as it were, provide myself with those things. People are losing their jobs. The banking sector, indeed, in your own house here, there were people I would come and make friends.
I don't think you should be dragging. You should be dragging us into the conversation.
Your institution.
I won't permit you. I won't permit you to drag us into.
I'm saying that you are responding. What's happening here?
I won't permit you. I won't permit you to drag us into the. I won't permit you to drag us into the conversation.
Most journalists.
I won't permit you to drag us into.
Most journalists have lost their job because of layoffs. You look at radio stations, TV stations have laid off a number of their workers. These are not good times for Ghana. You cannot say that with such massive layoffs, the mayor of Qatar will be right by saying that the governance of this country is in the right direction. It can't be. It can't be. And I'm saying that...
Is everything wrong?
About 90% of things happening in this country are wrong. Our roads, if you have a government that cannot fix footbridges, if you have a government that cannot fix footbridges, when a road has been constructed and your responsibility is just to fix the footbridges, and you cannot fix such a footbridge to ensure that the roads are safe, you are more or less a useless government. And I've said that in this studio before. Is that not a
stronger word to use?
No. Look, why do we vote governments into office or parties into government? We vote them to be able to improve upon the social welfare needs of the people. But if after you come to government, the situation is deteriorating, did we go or did we come? And that's why I'm saying that a government that cannot fix simple footbridges is not worth a government. And so, in all sectors of this economy, we are in difficult situations. Times are hard, you know that. And I've told you that with the current style of this administration, where people who are in positions are either close to the president, nephews, relations to the president, it's going to be difficult for you to see any improvement because the president cannot crack the whip.
The president says, give me a little while and you'll be smiling. We're working for you. We're in a hurry. Is that not enough? Is that promise not good enough?
Indeed. I remember that statement. We're in a hurry. We're in a hurry. And as we speak today, we've come to a standstill. You appointed 110 ministers. Today I'm told there are 111. You appointed this massive number of ministers. And what you told the people of this country was that because you are in a hurry, you want to employ this number of ministers so as to stem the tide. The commentary today, if the question is asked whether this number of ministers that we have, which is a record number in the world, if the question is asked whether they have been able to stem the tide and that Ghana has improved in terms of its economic conditions, the answer will be a big no.
So you disagree with the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, that the president is not governing well?
Not only that I disagree with him, but I also think that I expected that he would have taken some notes from Ghana to know the state of the Ghanaian economy before making that statement. And I think that he failed to do some due diligence to know the background of the Ghanaian situation before making those statements. All right. And so those statements are not a true reflection of the economic conditions that Ghanaians live in now.
Thank you. Honorable Daniel Okimabwaji is the MP for Bantam. He's joined us here. Honorable, good to have you. Great. Morning. And Lawyer Malibat says your shine should be taken away as it's been given to you by the Emir of Qatar. He says, despite the fact that the royalty says you are performing well, you are not, because the issues on the ground doesn't say so.
Well, let me say good morning to you and your viewers, and say good morning to my friend as well. Unfortunately, I disagree with him on all the points he's raised. The MPP government is not a useless government. On the contrary, it's a good government that is fixing the NDC's mess. What was said in Qatar is true. What did NDC promise us? Under the president, late President Atamils, if you remember, they promised us better Ghana, but they delivered bitter Ghana. That's what they did.
That's why you were voted in for change.
Exactly, and we are not complaining. And what we are saying is that we are delivering on our promises. In the first place, we have to fix the mess that we inherited from NDC. All right? all the instabilities in every corner of this country. He's talking about the price of water. What do you call it? Pure water.
Pure water, right.
If it was on the NDC, do you know what it will be?
No.
It will be 1 cedi today.
How do you know that?
How? Look at the rate of inflation. They left us at what? 15.4. And today is about almost 11 or going down. So if you should just put that on top of what they left us, it will be 1 cedi. That is what it is. So if you look at what our friends in NDC, don't expect them to say anything good. Of course, what the president is doing, President Akufo-Addo, fixing the economy, the instabilities we inherited, all the crises we have, and delivering on his old promises is not just something that our friends in NDC will be comfortable with. Because they did not do well by any means. And that's why we changed them. And that is why we, as MPP, are beginning to set the foundation, the fundamentals of our economy, and to deliver. And that's why everybody is praising us.
The Emir says the fundamentals are right, the social indicators are good, public partnership is aggressive, public-private partnership is aggressive, and all of that. But Lawyer Maliba says we can't feel it in our pockets. If you can't buy the things that is drawing in all these multinationals come and establish Volkswagen and everything else, and you can't afford it, then what have we done?
Do you know what is happening?
Tell me.
What is happening is the fact that our friends in NDC are comparing their 8 years of administration with 2 years. They have to be ashamed. 2 years.
Equalization?
No, not equalization. They have to be ashamed. The point is that, first and foremost, we have to take Ghana from where they left it. Crisis. We're not complaining. We're in a hurry, we want to fix. They keep talking about number of ministers and all those things. I believe that the end justify the means. They are looking at input to input relationship, when you could be looking at input to output, and the end will justify the means. So what our friends are saying, that it's not reflecting the pocket. Yes, it's true. Conditions are hard. But if they have done it better, we'll have been able to go forward more than we are now. All the issues, all the crises we see today, is because of the NDC's mess, what they did in 8 years. 110
ministers is constantly being questioned.
Let me give you one.
You say there's nothing wrong with it.
At the end of the day, don't forget, they deliver what did they deliver? They deliver things by the Green Book, right? We are aware that if you don't perform, Ghanaians will fire you. We're not going to repeat what they did.
Okay.
Let me give you an example.
Tell me.
You talk about today, MPP government, our government has been able to come up with a policy that is putting money in people's pocket by way of free senior high school. You may disagree with me, but at least we know those who go for day school, they get about almost 1,950. If you go to boarding house, about 3,000. If you have family members who are enjoying this, it's free money. They will discount it. Because of what they left us, the evil legacies they left us with our schools, we have to introduce what? Double track.
It does appear that the MPP's only defense when the issues of the economy comes up is the free SHS.
No, that's not the only thing. That's not the only thing. We paid about 6 billion towards the the ESLA bond. We have increased school feeding, right? We have increased the number of people that are benefiting from LEAP. Okay, so these are things that we are doing. We are resetting the fundamentals. When they said, 2015 in April, when the IMF said all the economic indicators, the fundamentals, the inflation, the GDP growth rate, and all those things were pointing to the wrong direction. When we came to power, within a matter of 20 months, the same IMF came back and said that these indicators are pointing to the right direction. So that is what we are doing. So the fundamentals.
How long do we have to travel along this path, of tightening our belt?
What do you have to understand that at least the present government has mandate of 4 years.
Okay,
it's done almost 2 years, right? And they are comparing 2 years of his work, his accomplishment. They are 8 years, and that's what I said. They have to be ashamed. So give him 2 more years and see what's going to happen.
Okay,
we know what the issues are. We know that the feelings of Ghanaians. We are our sovereign. Because of them. Example, look at the banking crisis. When did it start? 2013. And today, as a result of their mismanagement of the financial sector, people lost jobs. What the Akufo-Addo government did was to open the cancer up, let's deal with it, and let's save some jobs. Yet to go around and turn around and say, who caused it? You are collapsing banks. That's not true. That started under their watch. You can't use just 2 years to collapse a bank. It takes time. They saw the issues. They didn't do anything about it. And we are feeling the consequences right now. And they come around.
Setekpe said he went to get a bond in an election year. I interviewed him here because he cared about the banks and he didn't want the banks to collapse.
Okay, we do too as well. That is why we have provided over 13 billion Ghana cedis to save depositors' money. This is a government that cares. This is a government that is dealing with the mess that we inherited.
Okay. I thank you very much. Let's move on. Tomorrow, Council, we need to manage the time.
He has peddled
we need to manage the time. But so you also spoke.
No, he peddled some lies.
He said you did too.
So I just need some small time to.
Okay, well, I'll give you 1 minute.
That's it.
So we can move on.
It is factually inaccurate to say that the economic indicators, when we were in government, indicated that the country was going to grow at a slow pace. Indeed, in the lead up to the 2016 election, the EIU predicted that Ghana's economy would grow by 7%. The IMF also predicted that the Ghana's economy will grow by 7.5%. Now, why did they make these predictions? It was because the Mahama administration had put in place the fundamentals. And so the EIU said that even though we will lose the elections, but the MPP will inherit a strong economy.
It was a situation as you get your poo-pooed. EIU,
no.
Moody's.
I am saying that
he said well, all of that was.
No, we poo-pooed the losing of the elections. Okay. But today we've seen what it is. But I'm talking about the economic aspect. And I'm saying that there were predictions that the NDC had put in place the fundamentals and that we were going to grow at 7.5%. So if today they are reaping that benefit, he asked a question that how can a bank collapse in 2 years? How can an economy improve just when you come into power in 6 months? How can an economy improve?
Has the MPP done nothing?
What have they done? Look, I am saying that they cannot even construct a footbridge.
That for 8 years you couldn't complete.
You are caught up in the same.
No, I'm asking.
No, wait.
I've been chasing it for 10 years.
I am saying, look, I'm saying that you are caught up in the misunderstanding.
Okay.
This is a road that was started by President Kufuor.
Right.
There was no budgetary allocation to it.
President Kufuor. Hold on, Council, hold on.
Yes.
Exactitude. The deal was secured in 2008. The project started in 2009. That's exactitude.
This is the one of the gang of
yes,
four.
Absolutely.
You remember?
And I'm saying that the deal was signed in 2008.
Yes.
And then they started in 2009. I've been following for 10 years.
And I'm saying that it was a President Kufuor project.
That you started.
Whether we started or not, but it was one of the gang of four roads.
Absolutely. There's no argument about it.
Now,
but let's place on record that this deal was signed in 2008 under President Kufuor, started in 2009, by which time you were in power.
Contractors had moved in on that site. I agree, major work started under the NDC, but under Kufuor, contractors had moved to the site. Now, we constructed a road. We put in the footbridge, the overhead.
Right.
And we lost power. We had done majority of the road. We fixed the lies. We had lost power. Now, you have been handed over, equipped with a complete road, 90%. You have come in. You only need to put in a footbridge. And you've not been able to do it. Governance is a continuum. Where we ended, that no work was going on. Where we ended, you took over and you slept on the job. Who is to be blamed? And so, it's not the NDC that failed to put the footbridges. Under the NDC, you saw the overlay. It was now left with the stairs, the staircase to join the overhead. They have failed to do it. And then you want to take the blame and fix it on the NDC. No, because the NDC had left power. You have a group of people who have inherited infrastructure development. Huge infrastructure development. In some instances, they have refused to even integrate those facilities for the use of the general public. And I'm surprised that Ghanaians are not baring their teeth. Ghanaians are not angry with the attitude of this government led by Nana Akufo-Addo. Projects that were used, that were financed by the taxpayer.
Wrap up for me. Your 1 minute is long gone.
Projects that were financed by the taxpayers' money. Hospitals are locked up. Schools are locked up. Most of these e-blocks are completed. Some of them are locked up. And then you turn around and introduce a traffic lights school system, green, white, yellow, traffic light school system, and you say that there's no infrastructure.
Okay. Council, thank you very much indeed. Honorable, if we go back and forth, I'm not sure we can finish.
I just wanted to tell him that while I sympathize with the people in Adenta, I agree with the question that you asked him. For 8 years, they couldn't fix that footbridge. And that's just one of the many things they couldn't do. Go to Ashanti region, for instance. The affordable homes, they abandoned it. Prempeh College, there's a bridge there. It's a full-line bridge. For 10 years, they did nothing. So if you come here and begin to, in Parliament, I don't have a problem giving out some of the credit to our friends in NDC for touching a project and maybe living. But we, as a government, we are going to continue that which they've left.
Why did it take you so long then if you're going to still continue?
You know, this
and we lost lives there.
You know, it's unfortunate that
I've had promises from the Honorable Boniface Abubakar Siddiq. We have had promises from the minister himself, and all those promises didn't materialize until the people went and burnt ties.
You know, the honest truth is the fact that we don't want to lose lives. That's not what we want. We don't want people to go to hospitals and say there are no beds. We don't want trotro-like type of cars to be ambulance for us, right? That's not what we want. But the mess we inherited, just so much so that even the little things might even be too. It's not
priorities. Somebody would ask. Well, that's 52 ambulances. 52 ambulances. The last time we spoke about ambulances.
You asked a question.
Hold on. Let me. Yes. The last time we spoke about ambulances, we had only 52 ambulances. Sure. Okay, that was months ago. Within that period, we got 100 cars for the police, not a single ambulance. Okay. The last time you were in Parliament, Dr. Brown Gazy came to Parliament and said that fire service cannot fight fires beyond the 6th floor in Parliament. You remember, Parliament's Job 600 building is 12 floors. Okay. As we speak, they still don't have the equipment to fight it. They've been asking for a chopper to be able to fight fire. They still don't have it. So these are priorities.
This takes us to the basis of economics. Human wants are many, insatiable. The means to satisfy these are limited. Therefore, you draw scale of preference. You prioritize. We do agree. If our friends in NDC had managed the 8 years so well that the deep was not as deep as we inherited, some of these things would have been fixed a long time ago.
Okay.
So I'm saying that we have to just understand. I don't believe in blame game, but they need to understand that the Akufo-Addo presidency, the government of today, is doing much, much better. Fixing their mess, delivering on its own promises. When they promised us better Ghana, they delivered better Ghana in all aspects of our country. And that's the difference between us and them.
Okay.
They can talk.
Tomorrow, we're reading a budget in Parliament. This will be the 3rd budget of President Akufo-Addo's government ever since he got in. It will be the very first, not under the direction of the IMF.
Sure.
Okay. Council, what are your expectations for tomorrow? Already your side in Parliament has been speaking. They said there's nothing good to expect in this budget. So you are preempting the budget at a round-table meeting, even before the budget is read. Is that not interesting?
It's a hopeless situation because the three people have their saying that Agrobesoa Nefri Anapa. It's a hopeless situation. We are currently in difficult times. There was a budget that was christened a Ejuma budget. Contrary to the Ejuma, what we found was people losing their jobs, Ghanaians losing their jobs. There was one that was read under this administration, and Abosu-Okai people started jubilating that taxes were taken. Little did they know that import taxes were going to be increased. And today, when you go to Abosu-Okai and ask them about this administration, they don't want to hear about Nana Akufo-Addo's name. They don't just want to hear his name at all. When you take your cameras there and you will hear what they are saying. So this government, led by a president who is not truthful to the people, would attempt to hoodwink the people. So tomorrow, as usual, you will hear Ken Ofori-Atta in his opening remarks glorifying his grandfather, his father, and saying that his father was once a finance minister, which is non-sla, which is something that does not bring food on the table. You start by that.
History is important.
History is important. And the only history we have is his grandfather, his father. That's the only history we have in this country. He will move from there and start talking about things that they have done, which is not a reality, because we've not yet seen the one district, one factory. We've not yet seen the one dump, one district, one village, or what is it? We've not yet seen. Do you know that they ever promised every school child one chocolate bar? Do you remember that?
I do.
Do you know that Dr. Baumia promised one Ghanaian, one bank account? And sometimes when they are making the promise, I don't know what goes into their mind. Opening a bank account is a voluntary affair. So how can you, in God's name, appear on national TV, vice president, tell the people that you make sure that each Ghanaian gets a bank account?
Banking the unbanked.
Yes. I am saying that that is beyond his control. It is a voluntary affair. There's no law. So you cannot get every Ghanaian. So today if I ask him, my grandfather hasn't got a bank account. Haven't you failed? We are not saying that you shouldn't bank the unbanked. We are saying that you are making promises which you cannot fulfill. And so all these promises are there staring in their face. What I expect for the first time the finance minister to do is to follow the footsteps of his brother, the president, and Dr. Bawumia, and admit that times are hard in Ghana. When he does that admission, I'm sure members in the minority would accept and be calm for him to read. But when he comes to paint a picture, a rosy picture, as if Ghana has turned into, as they indicated, Ghana will be like London, Ghana will be like Paris in 18 months, and we are down to 23 months and they've not been able to do anything. If he does that, I'm sure the heckling will be too much.
Economic aspects, Professor Newman Kwadwokusi says we should block the loopholes and to raise more revenue to be able to develop. We've been doing this, we've been saying this over and over again. Widening the tax net is another popular one that this government has been trumpeting. Do you see these things happening?
These things are happening. I have noticed that for the first time, I've noticed that they are going into areas to collect taxes. We read a newspaper here that even the customs, the director of
Mr. Kofiti.
Yeah, the one, in charge of
Commissioner General.
The Commissioner General. He himself has gone to Temaport to help in the recovery of.
We made 12 billion from
Temaport. Now, the issue is, you have collected all these taxes. What is there to show? There is nothing to show. All these things have either been embezzled and the corrupt practices.
You can't say that. You don't know that for a fact.
I'm saying that they have either been embezzled and the corrupt practices, as we saw at the Maritime Authority, where he boldly came to tell the people of this country that party is organized for workers' girlfriends to also come and eat. So with impunity, disrespect for the people of this country, you use my tax to give girlfriends of your employees, and you come to national television and say it without shame, and that person is still sitting there, and the president, because he has been endorsing corrupt practices, has left him up to now. This is the Ghana we are. And so, it is not just the matter of collecting the taxes.
You said either, so you have mentioned one. What's the other one?
Oh, the other one is putting it on consumption. I just said that.
Okay, so one is corrupt practices.
Corrupt, or they are just consumption. There's nothing to show.
Okay.
There's nothing to show that this is the road, this is the bridge, and I just told you that they can't even construct a footbridge.
You can't see free SHS2. The numbers have increased.
Do you know the challenges in the free HSS? The free SHS has come with challenges. If those monies were used properly, those challenges will not be there. Bed bats, chewing our students. It's recently that after Akamba exposed them, recently the Education Ministry went to fumigate. All this while, why didn't you fumigate the place? So they are even their flagship program, the one that they pride themselves in, they are not even doing it well. This is a lazy government, and it must be told that nothing is going to come out of this budget.
Have you lost hope?
I am not the only one.
I'm asking you.
I am not the only one. Go onto the streets and you will hear the despondency, the dissatisfaction, the way Ghanaians have regretted. You can't even find a single person who is proud now to say, I voted for the MPP. Have you noticed that the paraphernalia?
Honorable Abuaji is proud to say so.
I'm saying that. Have you even seen the paraphernalia? Adolf Hitler even had supporters. You haven't seen the paraphernalia of the MPP now being removed from cars. When those paraphernalia, people don't even want to identify.
Okay.
Honorable
Abuaji, we'll come to you. Let's read some messages. Our viewers have been very active this morning, trying to join the conversation from around the world on our WhatsApp line 02021666633, and we should like to read some of your messages so that you feel part of the show. It's very important. It says, good morning, Johnny. Amaliba is confused though by his statement. Why is it that people are blaming Buhari of not governing Nigeria well? Are we in Nigeria before accusing him? No, Amaliba is still sleeping. Della from Ho. Good morning, Johnny. I just want to know when the Student Loan Trust Fund will disburse our monies, because we are almost at the end of a semester. Student loans, it usually comes at the end of a semester anyway, by my experience. Good morning to you and your panelists. Things are not easy. The government should not be deceived. We in the private sector are struggling. We hope the budget will bring us hope, or business will fold up. Aram Adenta news site. Our president enjoyed goodwill from Ghanaians, but he's losing it. The government should sit up else. Aram Adenta news site. The Qatar president, or the Emir of Qatar, is not telling us the truth because he is not Ghanaian. Nanado obviously said there is hardship in Ghana. Good morning, TV3. Please tell Amadiba that the road was constructed under the NDC administration, not the MPP. So it was the former administration's responsibility to fix the footbridges. Good morning. Why would they make us travel all the way to Accra for NAPCO passing out, through which people had accidents and yet be at home without placement? ST in Kofridra is worried and disappointed perhaps. Good morning. Politicians are always looking for a little opportunity to criticize. Mortuary workers in Ghana were receiving good salaries, and MPP reduced it to 150 and 200 cedis. MPP and NDC are the same. God will judge us all. Johnny, this government is all ready to help the youth. Well, 2020 is not far. Emma from Ghana Swedro to pump the car tire in Ghana for 2 Ghana cedis. I couldn't believe it. And the media and everybody is quiet. The media has been highly unfair to President Mahama. God help us all. I simply don't like Amaliba's way of politics. I wonder how he became a lawyer. Well, I think you're being you're getting, hysterical and insulting there. It's not fair. The Emir of Qatar is right. The indicators are in their good state. And hi, TV3, Johnny, I really don't understand why the recommendation made by the visiting president should be up for discussion. Do you really believe any diplomat will say otherwise about the host president? Johnny, I find it very insulting when the MPP communicators in response to any increment always say that if it were the NDC time. Really, did you promise us increase or decrease? Everything is free SHS. What else? Fidelis Jere, UDS in Wa. DJ O'Malley in Wayose Gosso said, minority NDC sabotages every good thing MPP government is doing. They are nation wreckers and don't want any good thing for us. So we should let them stay in opposition forever for Nanado and MPP to continue with their good governance. I don't blame NPP. We Ghanaians voted for them. We're left with no option than to take it one day at a time. They talk as if they are the only educated people in Ghana. Good morning, TV3. Super incompetent Akufo-Addo is only interested in overburdening the poor Ghanaians. When the minority alerted us on the clandestine increase in VAT, the MPP as usual denied the truth. The reality is the MPP party is very clear that Ghanaians are suffering. Osman Baruch is sounding Tamale. TV3, good morning. What is Mr. Daniel Abuaji trying to say? The reality of the matter is that we're moving backwards. What mess is he talking about? Which government in the history of Ghana has left Ghana in a mess than MPP? First time in the history of Ghana that mortuary attendants are threatening to go on strike. This is what I call gargantua mess. Ativo, David. Please tell Mr. Daniel Abuaji that he should stop lying. You're deceiving Ghanaians with a lot of ministers. Where can you get money to do project work? You can rap your children, not Ghanaians. Good morning. The rich can be identified to pay the free SHS depending on the JHS their children graduated from. For example, the students that attended Morning Star, GIS and SOS, name, and all those who pay in dollars should pay their own WAS fees. Okay, Emmanuel Lachimota is telling us to identify the rich to pay for their school fees. Good morning, Johnny. Tell the MPP man over there that does he know what he's saying? They promised teacher training is better. What do we see? It seems everyone has 10 deaf ears on us. TV3, how can we go and do national service after 1 whole year of out program education? Minister thinks he can just impose laws on us without conscience. God be with us, Mother Ghana. Lawson, Kwame Adho, and Johnny, the way I'm boiled inside when the MPP is just trying to justify their 111 ministers. I feel like crashing my TV. Don't crash it. TV3 is important. Don't crash it. In Laura. And finally, good morning, New Day, News Crew. In fact, this current government is reaping the lies they planted in 2016 polls. Now, when the realities are clear, the truth will expose you in all manner. Davi inside Ardenta and says, well, let's leave it. The footbridge, okay, maybe I should read the footbridge because this one came up. Johnny and Guest. So the super incompetent MPP chooses to blame NDC when things are bad in their regime and takes credit for something they have not done. You're also the problem. You don't investigate what is said and play along the galleries. These footbridges were also finished under JDM before they left power. What prevented the MPP to prioritize their project? Nanado said he will be in a hurry, right? Seriously, I don't know why NDC panel still talks about the economy. Well, as I said, I have been chasing the Ardenta story for a long time. I know that the bridges were completed long before the 2016 election. If it was just the links to the bridge, they could have done it. In fact, it takes 21 days to have concrete to dry. What prevented the NDC from doing it? That's a question I've been asking, and I'm not getting the answer. But, Mr. Abuaji, let's come to you. Expectations for the budget. I've heard you speak on a myriad of issues, what to expect. Yes. Is it going to be the same story as usual? The Asempa budget, the Juma budget, Ghanaians say they are not feeling it. Are they going to feel it this time around?
Governance is not easy, especially when you have a position. Some of them are trying to be quite, become what we call prophet of dooms. Don't forget, prior to 2018 budget, we had our friends in NDC talking about going back to the 1983 famine, right? Famine, if you remember, that we are going to go through hunger, there's going to be problems and stuff like that. But let's talk about the price of plantain today. Are you telling us Ghana experienced what they professed prior to 2018 budget? And now today, they are also professing that it's going to be like hell. It's not going to happen. It's unfortunate. I mean, Honorable Otofos is my friend if he comes to the Finance Committee. But I disagree with him on all his economic analysis, especially when he should know better.
There are some of the things he said that have come to pass.
What is that? Tell me one. What is that? I can't find one. What? Increase in taxes?
Right.
There was no increase. In actual fact, if you should put it together, it was still 17.5% of VAT that we're talking about. It's just the form that changed. And the change definitely was going to result in an increase in government revenue. But that does not necessarily mean that all the increases cost was going to be pushed onto the consumer. You know, there's a difference.
Everybody seems to be passing it on to us. The telcos, the breweries,
the only reason they're able to do that is because they came together, trying to be like monopolize what the issue is. But if it was a perfect competitive market, not every price increase, not every increase in cost, we pass on into the.
But where does the money go? That's the question of the minds of many Ghanaians. If we collect so much, 12 billion from the ports, where does the money go?
The money goes to fix the economy. The money goes to work. Basically, what we do have is a budget that tells us the revenue and expenses.
Okay.
So whatever money is mobilized, is raised, goes to these expenditure items. And basically that's what it goes. And unfortunately for Ghana, we've been in a situation where we always have deficit. I mean, in recent times, which means that we have to borrow to finance the difference. So that is where the money goes, to finance the expenditures the expenses, the interest expense, the salaries, the consumption, and those things. And that's how it goes.
Interest rates are low, but people are scared to go for the loans. Why? If the rates are low, and people are scared to go for the loans.
The rates are low, and that is what we have to be talking about. I believe that when people or when business people are a little bit, not sure about what is going to happen, they are a little bit slow in taking loans. But the truth of the matter is that the policy rate has reduced from some 25-point-something% to about 70%.
That's a fact. But why are people not going for it?
But we should ask the business people. I am doing it. I'm going for it. I don't know. It depends. You should ask. If TV3 needs to borrow money, if you don't need money, you don't go for it. That's what it is. If you don't need money, you don't go for it. So the bottom line, what we are expecting is that what our friends in NDC are saying, that we should expect hell. No, we are not going to expect hell. We rather should be hopeful because we have a government in power that knows what it's doing. Fixing the economy in 2017, we came in, we stabilized the economy. 2018, we have to deal with challenges, especially in the financial sector, that was caused by them. We are trying to fix those issues. 2018, we know what our infrastructure deficits are. And we're going to begin to take steps to fix those. He said, we haven't done anything. But at least, I'm not here to lie, at least in Bantama, I've seen some road, some kilometers. For 8 years under NDC's watch, I never even saw a gutter. Not one. Not even a piece of gutter like even this tabletop. But under President Kufuor, I have seen 6 inches thick road. Never before. It only takes me back to Chicago.
It has a gutter by the side?
Yes.
Is the gutter
it's a main road.
Is the gutter covered or is still
it's
left open?
It's a main road.
Is the gutter covered or has been left open?
Well,
we have a culture in this country where we construct gutters and leave them open. I don't know whose idea it is.
Do you know what the issues are?
No.
Like I told you, our issues are many. So if you can give me a route where we can actually use and later on we come back to fix or cover the gutter. It is an open gutter.
Tell me your closing thoughts ahead of tomorrow. You are in government.
Sure.
What is the ordinary Ghanaian supposed to hear? Are we to hear that prices of goods and commodities will drop in 2019? The spare parts dealers will be smiling now and happy. Importers will be happy because their demurrage and everything else will drop. What are we to hear?
What we are to hear is that, don't forget, the government himself had admitted that there has been hardship.
Right.
I mean, nobody's going to deny that. But of course, these are all part of the things we inherited. What we can believe in is that...
You don't believe you created some?
No. We are fixing it.
Okay.
I've told you, everything that you see evil in Ghana is caused by NDC.
So NDC is evil, MPP is good?
Yeah. When it comes to management and governance, no, what we are doing is that we are trying to fix what they left off.
Okay.
We campaign on that. We are trying to deliver on our promises, right? And we are also trying to let Ghanaians know that there's hope. So what I expect Ghanaians, or all of us, to hear tomorrow is that we are going to continue to stabilize the economy, hold it, make sure that the gains we have made, we sustain it. We are going to take care and listen to that which Ghanaians have been crying about. Of course, we understand that things have been a little bit hard. We are going to begin to make sure that infrastructure development is top of the agenda, so that our roads, the many roads that our friends said they fixed, can be fixed properly. If you go to Swami, what do you call it, Honorable Mudaka's constituency, Aswansi, for instance, the roads were fixed prior to the 2016 election. Today, go and check.
Okay.
It's a disgrace.
Thank you very much.
It's a disgrace that for 2 years you are on national radio, TV, and if you want to cite the achievement of the government, it is about a small road in Bantama, and you are proud of that.
No, that is just one of the many. No.
You say that you say that NDC left you rot, but you had money to pay 110 ministers. You say NDC left you rot. Is it the NDC that increased water prices to 30%? This is a government that has lost its focus.
Is that you caused it?
I am saying that, is it the NDC that increased the water to 30%? Is it the NDC?
It would have been worse under your...
Now they are playing God. They know what will happen if NDC were there. They are not playing God.
I thank you, gentlemen.
Your lies have now come to an end. They are not playing God.
The Honorable Daniel Akim Abuaje is the MP for Bantama. He joined us here on behalf of the NPP and lawyer Abraham Amaliba is a member of the NDC's communication team and legal team as well. Gentlemen, I thank you very much. But Tilapia has got something for us. Fix your gaze on the screen here. Let's see Tilapia. It says, ahead of 2019 budget, the officials of taxes. I see what looks like the finance minister and the president in a boat or a canoe. And it says tax net, power, health, luxury tax, water, income, and they are all being fished. So we will make money in 2019 and we'll use it, won't we, Honorable Daniel? We'll use it.
The government is going to try to, make sure that the monies are properly being used.
Okay. You criticize infrastructure. You criticize infrastructure and the NDC. And they are now
take a break.
Welcome back. So it's Wednesday, and as usual, we talk about health. Your health, my health, everyone's health. But in this week, particularly today, we are talking about diabetes because we are celebrating World Diabetes Day. And most of you think diabetes just affects some other parts of the body, but there's a very important part of the body that it also affects, and we're talking about the eye and its complications when you have diabetes. I'll be speaking to Dr. JC. He is a retinal surgeon at St. Thomas Eye Hospital. He is also the president for the Ophthalmological Society of Ghana. He's joining me this morning to discuss this very important topic. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So let's start off by talking about diabetes in general. What is diabetes and how far-reaching is it when we talk about its complications in the eye?
I think by now everyone has heard this disease, diabetes. You're talking about a medical condition in which there's elevated sugar level in the bloodstream. This sugar doesn't move into tissue, so it circulates in the blood, and then because of its high levels, it tends to destroy tissues.
Very well. So in the eye, how would it manifest? How would someone out there know that I have diabetes and it is affecting my eye as of now?
Ideally, if you have diabetes affecting your eye, you won't be able to know that this problem I have is because of my diabetes. Right. Yeah, what really happens is that it affects virtually every tissue inside the eye, and that starts all the way from the front part of the eye to the back. When we say front part of the eye, we are talking about the cornea. What sometimes you look at and looks like a black tissue is actually clear glass tissue like this. So diabetes affects the cornea in that it reduces the sensitivity of the cornea. And once the sensitivity is decreased, whenever you have a damage, like you have an injury, you don't even feel that, that the injury is happening to you. Number two, it reduces the extent to which the cornea heals itself, just like the same way it affects tissues. You have a diabetic foot, it doesn't heal. So that's what happens in the cornea. When you go further to the iris, with the brown tissue in there that allows us to see, increase the pupil within, the iris gets affected in diabetes as well because its nerve supplies get affected. So the pupil doesn't dilate as much as you won't expect whenever you put eye drops to dilate in the patient for examination. Going further is the lens that's inside the eye, and this is a very important part that gets readily damaged by diabetes. In that people with diabetes are likely to have a cataract forming much earlier than other people. So this is what happens. But the bigger challenge we have in diabetes is not so much of these, but we can always operate the cataract and they put in a new lens. Cornea injury is not that common. The bigger tissue is when you have the retina getting involved in diabetes. And the retina is essentially like the membrane, the eye, or a photographic film that allows us to see. When this membrane gets damaged, that's where the big issues are. And there are several ways that the retina gets damaged in diabetes. One of them is that the blood vessels get affected, so they leak fluid, they leak lipids or fat, and they also bleed. All this will destroy the retina. Sometimes the bleed goes all the way into the vitreous or the gel that fills the eye, and so you have blood in the gel, light doesn't go in and doesn't reach the retina. With all this, your vision gets affected.
Very well. So, like you said, you wouldn't know until you probably have visited your ophthalmologist. And so if you get there, what are you expecting your eye specialist or ophthalmologist to do for you?
Normally, every patient will go to a routine check that you get in a hospital, but then we will look more at the retina. General ophthalmologists can see changes in the retina and probably refer to a retina specialist or a retina surgeon who will perform one to three things that we will do. And depending on how much damage there is, how much fluid is there in the retina, where is the fluid, Is there blood in the vitreous? Is there blood in the retina? In other words, the retina bleeding. Where is the bleed? All this will determine the intervention that we plan. For instance, if you have the macular area or the very center of the retina that's thickened with fluid, then the treatment probably will be one or two things. Either we give injection or we do laser treatment. And there are specific injections that are given into the eye that dries the retina up. So you will probably give not once, not twice, maybe 3, and continue as long as the disease process is continuing. If this is not the case and we have to do laser, then we will do laser treatment. And there are 2 types of laser treatments that we do in the eye. Either we're doing laser to the macular area, or we are selectively destroying the entire retina and leave the central part, which allows you to see. So all these, what we're doing is that the retina is not getting enough blood supply, not getting enough nutrition. Meanwhile, it's not every part of the retina that's used in seeing. So the areas that are not used, we selectively destroy these with laser beams, and then we leave the central part that gets enough oxygen, enough nutrition, and all that. If it's gone beyond this and the bleed into the vitreous or the gel, then the vitreoretinal surgeon will have to go in and clear the gel from the eye in order to clear the path for light rays to reach the retina. Or if the retina is torn from diabetes, then we have to operate it as well. So there are many things that we do inside the eye. Either we are using laser, or we're doing surgery in the eye, or we are giving injections.
Very well. Is there anything that predisposes someone who has diabetes to getting any eye complications faster than another person who has diabetes but wouldn't get the complications?
Oh, definitely. Just like all other tissue injuries relating to diabetes. And the biggest one to do the duration of the disease. The longer you've had your diabetes, the higher your chance that you will have some retinopathy or retinal damage occurring. The other one is poorly controlled sugar levels. If you've not been taking good care of your sugar, then you're going to have a problem where excessive sugar accumulation, the retinal tissues get damaged, the blood vessels get damaged, and so on and so forth. Yeah, beyond that's a lifestyle or comorbidities. If you have hypertension, you have kidney failure, or you have pregnancy, which itself increases your sugar level. All this happen, then the lifestyle issue, cigarette smoking. So all these are risk factors that will predispose us from getting retinal damage if we are diabetic.
So the statistics in Ghana, I'm interested in finding out how many people would willingly or actually come to the hospitals to seek help when they have complications in the eye arising from diabetes.
The point is first, do they even know? They don't. But if they know, because their vision is dropped, naturally they will seek some help. But the issue is about knowing and not knowing. So because many people don't know until they have a manifestation or their vision getting affected, that's where the main challenge is. And that is why Ghana is also implementing a diabetic retinopathy service action plan, which already we've started the stakeholders meeting. So we're going to have a system where there will be regular screening countrywide, set up at the various hospitals, and then case by case and referral systems put in place. Those who need to have laser at the regional level will probably get that. Those who need vitreoretinal surgery maybe be referred to vitreoretinal centers and so on and so forth. But once people have it, then I believe likely they will seek help. But when they don't have, or they don't know they have, that's where the challenge actually is.
I'm also interested in finding out, now we know, or at least we can tell some of the signs and symptoms of diabetes and be able to get to the hospital early to save ourselves from having complications. But my problem is how easily accessible as of now is this eye treatment for any diabetic complication, and also is it cheap? Is it affordable to most people in Ghana?
Let's face it, and probably that's why also we have a national action plan. Almost all the things I mentioned about handling diabetic retinopathy are very expensive. A laser machine is about $30,000. Vitreoretinal unit for working on diabetic retinopathy, you're talking about $105,000 investment. And then the training costs, having to train a retina specialist. All these are real challenges. You understand? But at the end of the day, as a country, we need to go forward. And as such, a national action plan needs to be pursued, which we are pursuing at the level of the Ghana Health Service and the Ophthalmological Society of Ghana. So we are frontliners, front runners in this program and championing it. And I think that's a way forward. In so doing, that you could bring down the cost to the level where it will be affordable to everyone. That notwithstanding, injections are not expensive. They're about 600 Ghana cedis per shot. Lasers are not really expensive in terms of their delivery cost, probably 500 to 1,000 Ghana cedis. So this is not the way of budgets. Yeah. So again, the whole thing is knowing, picking these people early and giving effective treatment before it gets to surgery.
So finally, before we sign off, what's that message you want people to take home? Or what's that word you want to tell people out there to be concerned about their eye?
Because tomorrow is a World Diabetes Day, and it's a day that we've dedicated globally to reach out to people, let people know diabetes and what it does to your eyes and other parts of the body. So today, it's today actually, not tomorrow. So people should have a check. Those who are near hospitals should avail themselves to be examined. Those who have eye clinics near them should go for a check. And especially diabetics who don't know they have problems inside the eye must take advantage of the day and they have a check. And not only for today, but
throughout their lifetime, I guess. Very well. On that note, I'd like to say thank you to you, Dr. JC. He is a retinal surgeon with St. Thomas Eye Hospital and also the president for the Ophthalmological Society of Ghana. We have been talking about diabetic eye complications, and I'm sure you learned a thing or two about it. Make sure you get your eye checked as we all celebrate World Diabetes Day. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more here on Newday. Don't change the station. Stick and stay with us.
Interesting song by Evangelist Aini there. I think that's a trending song right in town now, and some people are trying to put a political twist to it in Betty Pop. So there's something that if you don't do, you face the consequences. That's the bobo that they are talking about. I don't know what language it is, but let's talk about the Media General Funding Startup and Funding Summit. Here, I've been joined by three wonderful people. Alfredo Kansi is head of our business desk here at Media General. Is joined us here. Kojo Deku is a chartered project management professional, and also the beautiful Hannah Akwa, CEO of TKC Africa here. Good morning, lady and gentlemen.
Good morning to you.
And how's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Good. Great. Let me start with you, Alfred. This is one of the many babies that the business desk has put forward. Yeah. Why so?
Why so? Because we believe in young entrepreneurs, startups, and this is something that can be confirmed over the last 3 years. We have been committed to giving the platform to young entrepreneurs, startups to exhibit their wares, because one of the major problems, apart from funding, that startups and young entrepreneurs face is the exposure, the publicity, for people to even get to know that they are doing something. A lot of young people are doing great things out there, but then because they do not have even the money to come and even buy airtime or even advertise, nobody hears of them. So if you've been observing on the Business Focus program, every Monday at 6 p.m. we dedicate 10 minutes to young entrepreneurs. We even go to their workshops, go and interview
the movers.
The mover segment, where they take us through how they do what they do, just to inspire young people that, look, it is possible. They get committed to it and executing it. So this time we decided that instead of just focusing on the singles, as in going to these specific people, over the last 2.5, 3 years, we've interviewed almost 200 startups and young entrepreneurs. Wanted to create a platform, bring them all together, network, and also have people come and tell them about funding opportunities, how to access these funds. Because sometimes it's about information. The the funding is there, but then how to access the funding is also based critically on information. And information certainly is the currency of our time, so that's one of the major reasons why we're doing this.
I see. Interesting. Hannah, let me come to you. I remember you fondly from the 3FM business page where we're trying to get young people to come on a $10,000 prize package for whoever gets it. Now it's grown bigger and become this particular one. What's your role in this?
Well, I will say last year, after the 3FM business bit last year, Kojo Yanka, you know, the chairman, he actually gave birth to this in regards to, he mentioned, why don't we have this kind of fair? Because we need to expose. So I'm so happy that Alfred has taken it on and has really just made it happen. So what we're doing at CKC is we love entrepreneurs and SMEs. And so we're here to help them with so many areas. So in regards to pitching, how to pitch to investors, help them understand how to get access to funding or access to market. Because sometimes in a world or in a situation where it's hard to get funding, you might be a startup that you don't really have anything to show. How can we tweak and structure your business so you can at least get something that could propel you to the next step before you can get the actual physical cash that you need? Sometimes it's partnership, right? Someone might need a distribution partner, someone might need a trade partner. Obviously, Media General is now going to be advertisement, promotion partner, which is great for their brand. And then, as you know, we have the summit on the second day with some of, I guess, GIPC, NEP, and we'll be hosting the summit.
John Kumai and rest of people. Could you let me come to you? That leads me to you. You are an entrepreneur. You also run the SokoCenter.com, and so you've been in the thick of things. What does this sound to you?
This is one of the best news I've heard this whole year, that the media houses are giving us a spotlight, showcasing our products and giving us some attention. And that is the beginning of good business, to have attention. So that's a big news. So that's
how would this help in your business, for example? The summit, the fair, that's teaching you how to source for funds, give you the requisite training and capacity. How would this help you, for example?
Right, so this first of all brings a lot of entrepreneurs together at one place, which is really important, and this will help us to sell our products. So all entrepreneurs get to sell their products, and so they have direct cash through sales. So for us as an online platform, which is dedicated to bringing all African companies on one single platform, is a big news because we get to get people registered directly on the platform, and the registration is free. So we are going to be there to get all these people registered for free.
Yes. Alfred, break down the program for me. We're starting on Friday.
Absolutely.
What time Friday? And run me through till Saturday.
Great stuff. Thank you, Johnny. Before maybe I just do a big, I'm happy that Kojo is coming on board, because this is one of the added advantages for the exhibitors who have registered. And let me just sound the registration ends today. At 6 p.m. today. SokoCenter.com has over 500 to 1,000, 500,000 to just about 700,000 thereabouts views within a month. Or people visiting that particular site within a month. So they're going to be hosted on that site for free.
Absolutely.
So you just need to, when they come, we'll take their information and he will be there to put them out there. And because what we're trying to do as a beyond the fair, want to give them value, the exhibitors value. You know, a lot of people may come to the fair, and we're expecting that lots of people, members of the general public, will be at the fair, but then some may not purchase when they come. They only come in to get information, do window shopping as we always do. But then when you have a call card, when you have a flyer,
you could always do a follow-up
and do a follow-up.
What's going to happen on Friday?
Friday we have the opening ceremony between 8:30 and 9:30 thereabout. After 9:30, the fair opens, which will be officially opened by the group CEO, Beatrice Ajimanabe, and then right afterwards, the fair starts. The whole day, we're going to be there till 6 p.m. We'll have 3FM, TV3, Onuya FM doing some live interviews there.
Right there
at the fair.
So you get free interviews as well?
You get free interviews on television, on radio, on various radio platforms as well. And then on the Saturday, the fair opens at 8:30. We're looking at even bringing it out to about 8 o'clock because we realize that the first day the interest will build, and then the second day we'll have a lot more people coming in. So from 8 to 6 p.m. In between that, from 9:30 to 12, we would have the summit, which Hannah mentioned, where Hannah will be speaking about the funding and how to access some of the funds or the funding opportunities that she has strong links with. And she's exhibited it with the 3FM pitch, where they offered some $10,000 to the winners in cash and other forms of funding as well. We would have Venture Capital Trust Fund CEO also speaking there. We would have the representative from GIZ visit. We'll also have the Natural Entrepreneurship and Innovation Plan, NAIP, also coming in to speak as well there. And then 2 other speakers who are yet to confirm.
How much do I contribute to be part of the exhibition, summit and everything? I'm a young entrepreneur, I'm interested, I do you know, some product or packaging. How much?
So we give them categories. There's 400 and there's 300.
Okay.
So depending on which one you want to go with, it comes with its own added advantages and all. Not the primary thing is that you come in, you have your fair, I mean, you have your product, you have it, you display, and then you're able to get all of these opportunities that goes with
We'll come to you for the phone number to call. Hannah, tell me, why should I participate? Look, I'm already struggling to get funding from a bank or from a venture capitalist. I have my small 3,000, 4,000 cedis. I'm trying to do local fuel with it. And you're here advertising for me to come and give you 400 of my money to come and do what?
Well, you know, they say in business you have to give to get. They say it in church as well. You have to like give to receive, right?
Press down, shaking together, and branding over.
Exactly. And so 400 for all the benefits you just heard is awesome. I mean, you get the cost of coming on TV3 alone.
Right.
I don't even want to mention that. One of the biggest stations in Ghana. And radio, 3FM, and your sister stations. Plus, now you have the 3 months online shopping experience. Exactly. You know, so this is nothing. Like if they were to put a value on everything they're getting, then most importantly, you can sell your goods. So you could probably even make more than what you paid for that day.
You're going to be speaking on Saturday at the summit. You're talking about how to get funds. Is it tough in Ghana to get funds?
Let's be honest, it's very tough.
But do you have the keys to unlock that?
So what I always tell people is, I have the keys, but we're not going to just say, okay, today we're giving you $10,000. No, we're going to understand your business, where you are, when you also know what your needs are. So that's why I mentioned before, if you say, okay, these are the operational cost of my business, and this is the funding I need to make everything work. When I see within the operational cost that you need a distributor because you have a hard time selling your eggs from the farm to the market, then we can partner with maybe one of these distribution companies, like whether the motorbikes or so, they partner with you, and every time you make a sale, you give them part of exactly. And so that's one of your costs gone. So once we understand some of these things, you've noticed that through partnership, you have reduced
Don't give away everything. Saturday we're going to be there. Could you wrap up the conversation with you from your end? What are we to look forward to from your end? If I come and I get listed on your Soko.com, what do I stand to gain?
Right, so you get a lot of exposure and you're able to sell products to people near and far. You know, online is now the trend. A lot of people are very busy. And for example, even the fair, I know there would be a lot of people who would love to come, but they already have other commitments which would prevent them from coming. So, but these people can easily go on to sokocenter.com, place order, and then it comes to them. Right. So that is one big thing that they get. And also maybe a message for our cherished listeners, the Ghanaians and Africans in general. Our products, made in African products, made in Ghana products, made in Togo, Nigeria, all products are really good. So the old idea that made in African products are limping, it's a thing of the past.
It's a thing of the past. I agree with you. We have what it takes. Alfred, give me that magic number to call before 6 p.m. to book my place.
Fantastic, Johnny. Thank you. So there are 3 numbers: 0242 367 965. And then there's 0242 334 754. And then there's 0241 272 606. Those are the 3 numbers.
Give me one last time.
0242 367 965. 0242 334 754. And then 0241 272 606. And I'd like to just take this opportunity to thank you and then the rest of the team, both the business desks and also the news team and the
Ebenezer Jekum, Etinam Say, Nanekia Mesa Brown, Powerful Doctors, everybody else.
They've been fantastic, and then the various heads of the news team have all been very supportive in this and making sure that it happens and it's worth for them.
Thank you. Alfred is the head of business desk here at Media General. Has been speaking on our upcoming Startup and Funding Summit. He's been here with Kojo Deku, is a project management professional, chartered one, of course. Thank you, Kojo, for your time. And the beautiful Hannah Rakwa is the CEO of TKC Africa. Always a pleasure to have you around here. So we'll meet on Friday. Make that call right now. And on that note, I'd like to say thank you to you. What are you saying?
So we invite the general public.
Okay, to come in. See. Of course, I mean, they will be there. So Friday, we have a date. Saturday, we have a date, Aviation Social Center. You can't miss it. I'll be there to shake hands with you, to take photos with you. We'll be doing some shopping as well. Can I get listed on SocoCenter.com?
Well,